Estrous cycle in domestic animals. Signs of estrus. In my previous lecture, we have discussed the definition of estrous cycle and the different stages of estrous cycle. Today, mainly, we will be discussing about the signs of estrus. So, the definition which we have discussed, it is rhythmic expression of sexual receptivity within a limited period of with a limited period occurs at periodic interval. For example, a cow comes into estrus every 21 days interval until she gets pregnant. That is estrus cycle. So let us see the different stages of estrus, and mainly we will be seeing today the signs of estrus. And the estrus, one estrus to the next is one estrus cycle. So let us see the different stages of estrus cycle: proestrus, metestrus, diestrus, and proestrus. Estrus, metestrus, diestrus, and proestrus. So what are the signs of estrus? Estrus, we know that it is a sexual receptivity period of the farm animal or domestic animal. It is also referred as heat, and especially for the farm animal, detection of estrus is very important for breeding purposes. So, what are the signs which the animal expressed during the estrus period helps us to identify that animal so that we can breed that animal or we can introduce the male for fertilization for conception in proper timing so that the animal will get pregnant and the farm or the farmers will get the benefit. So that is the main purpose, to detect the animal who are in estrus period, to breed those animals. So it is a sexual receptivity period, or sometimes referred to as heat. It is well defined. Many farm animals, they expressed some of the behavior, and we can see from outside when we observe the animal carefully. So the very common signs of estrus shown in most of the farm animals are vocalization. Different animals, they produce different kinds of sound. So during that period they make some kind of sound where you can identify or you can suspect that that animal is in estrus condition. And redness and swollen vulva, which is due to hyperemia to that organ. And mucus discharge and frequent urinations, lack of appetite. Lack of appetite means animal reduce eating, excitement, restlessness, etc. These are the signs most common in most of the farm animals. Some of the specific signs in different farm animals, we will see some of the specific which are most often or common to that particular species. For example, the cow. Homosexual behavior is very common. Homosexual behavior means the cow who is in estrus, the estrus cow mount other herd mates, female cow, or this estrus cow allow other female to mount over them. That is, we call it homosexual behavior. And this cow also making sound, vocalization, that is known as bellowing. So this kind of characteristics you can see in cow along with the these common signs. In goat, these animals who are in estrus, their constant vocalization, continuously bleating sound, and they will seek out for buck, male goat. Rapid movement of tail, that is wagging of tail, rubbing up against hard men. So these are the signs in goat. Sheep. Sheep seek out for ram and repeat tail movement, wagging of tail or fluttering. Raise the tail in the presence of ram. It is indicating that they allow the ram for mounting or for copulation. Sometimes homosexual behavior is noticed, but not as often as in cow. Sometimes it might be noticed in sheep, but not very common like as in cow. Vocalization for ram. They will make some kind of sound where no, the male can identify the estrus animals. Redness and swollen vulva is difficult because of the presence of wools and they have a small vulva. Because of that, from a distance, it is little bit difficult to identify or observe these signs. In sow which is most commonly used by the farmer is back pressure test. What is back pressure test? If the sow, the pig, is in stress, then if you give a back pressure upon the pig, then they will stand immobile. They will allow or they will stand still. So with that test, if you give back pressure or pressure over the back of the pig, who is in stress, then if it is standing immobile, then we can presume that the sow is in stress, and or they will stand immobile when mounted by another sow or boar for mating. They also make peculiar repetitive grunting sound, vocalization, salivation, and jumping jaw. And lordosis reflex also see noosing, erect ear, increased vaginal secretion. These are the signs when we can see in sow when they are in stress. Mare, female horse, winking of vulva, that is micturition, that is frequent urination, and repeated exposure of clitoris, squatting or lowering the pelvis, lifting up the tail, and we can see brownish yellow discharge from vagina, seeking out for company, other mares, like other mares, gelding. Gelding means at a castrated male or handlers. And if you introduce a male stallion, the stallion begins sniffing and biting the mare to test her level of receptivity. If you introduce a male horse, they will start sniffing and you can find out that the mare is in stress. So let us see what are the physiological changes during the stress period in the ovary. We have discussed in my previous lecture. So this is follicular phase where follicular maturation or ovulation, and the expression of sexual behavior expression, it is mainly is the result of gonadal hormone, estrogen or progesterone produced by the ovary in coordination with the nervous system. In the that this is follicular phase, estrogen become predominant, or under the influence of estrogen, the uterus is in proliferative phase. So this is what is inside, and the behavior outside, that is this kind of behavior you can see in the farm animal. So those are the signs of stress. So let us talk about the mat stress. What are the physiological changes? Because most of the animal ovulation occurs during the stress, except cow ovulation occurs at 10 to 15 hours after the end of stress. So after ovulation, the next stage is mat stress after stress. So this is the initial development of corpus luteum, that is post-ovulatory period in the ovary. And there is ciliary movement because after ovulation the oocyte will come into oviduct and the ciliary movement will push the oviduct to the site of fertilization. And after embryo production also, those ciliary movement help the embryo to move toward the uterus for implantation. And behavioral expression, this during the Methyl, it is poorly defined. The behavior is not significant. You cannot see from outside and say that the animal is in Methyl because they are poorly defined. The behavior is not very significant or ill defined. But here some of the cows shows bloody mucus discharge 1 to 2 days after estrus, and this is due to the higher concentration of estrogen during estrus period. And due to higher concentration of estrogen, those estrogen cause leak of blood from the vessel to the lumen surface of the endometrium, and that blood will come out through the vagina during the met-estrus period. That is called, because we see that discharge, that bleeding during met-estrus stage. Because of that, it is called met-estrus bleeding. It is seen in cow because of high concentration of estrogen during the uh, estrus period. Diestrus, after estrus we have the diestrus. This is the maturation of corpus luteum, luteal activity, and the period of mature corpus luteum, progesterone become predominant. Under the influence of progesterone, the uterus is in secretory phase. The gland starts secreting fluid. That fluid is called uterine milk. So the behavioral expression also, most of the farm animals, it is poorly defined. The behavior is not significant like in estrus. And proestrus, the physiological changes. If the animal is not pregnant, then corpus luteum is destroyed by PGF2 alpha, and on an average on day 14 in most of the farm animal. Then as soon as corpus luteum destroyed, progesterone goes down, and there is rapid development of the follicle, that is follicular phase, and estrogen production will increase, concentration of estrogen will increase, and that estrogen cause again uterus into proliferative stage. So the signs, it is also very poorly defined, but some of the farm animals, they show edematous and swollen vulva might be seen in sow. It is mainly due to estrogen, increasing estrogen level. So these are the stages you can see in the farm animals and the signs of stress in the farm animals, which help us to identify the animal for breeding purpose. So this we have discussed about reproductive cycle. Proestrus, estrus, they will show the sign, they will receive the male for breeding. Metestrus, if they are not pregnant, then again diestrus, then proestrus. If they are pregnant, then this cycle will stop. After pregnancy, it will again start. So let us see about the Estrous cycle in beech and queen. Queen means female cat, beech, female dog. So beech, the proestrus is very long. Proestrus is almost 9 days, very long period. During the proestrus, the beech shows serosanguinous vaginal discharge. Serosanguinous vaginal discharge means it is the blood mixed with the fluid or mucus in the uterus or vagina, and they will come out through the vagina or vulva. So this discharge will come during the proestrus. You can see during the proestrus time, and this is also due to high concentration of estrogen, because during proestrus phase there is follicular phase and estrogen production. That estrogen cause increased endometrial vascularity, and blood leaks to the lumen and mix with the fluid and comes out as vagina or it is called vulvar discharge or vaginal discharge. This is serosanguinous vaginal discharge, because it is mixed with the blood mixed with the fluid, and that component is called that is called serosanguinous vaginal discharge, blood along with the fluid. And edematous vulva also seen in this animal. During the proestrus stage in beach, these beach are sexually attractive but not sexually receptive. It means the male dog, they will come around the beach who is in proestrus, but the beach will not receive those male for copulation at this time. The beach will not allow the male for copulation or intercourse at this time. So they are not sexually receptive during proestrus stage. They are receptive during estrus. When does the estrus begins? When the beach become receptive to the male. It is just after LH search. They become sexually receptive. Then the beach is in estrus. When does the LH surge occurs? It is just after the end of proestrus. Just after the end of proestrus, there is LH surge. Then the beach become sexually receptive. And after LH surge, the ovulation occurs 24 to 48 hours after LH surge. They become sexually receptive, and the beach has remained sexually receptive almost 7 to 10 days, average 9 days. They will remain sexually receptive during a long period, actually 7 to 10 days, and in spite of the decline estrogen level, because after ovulation, after LH surge there is ovulation and there is declining of the estrogen level, and slowly progesterone is increasing. But here in beach, progesterone is also used or necessary for sexual receptivity, estrogen plus progesterone. So they have long receptive period, and progesterone also play a role for sexual receptivity in beach. If you see the vaginal epithelium, you can find a cornified vaginal epithelium. Suppose if the animal is failed to conceive or fail to get a male during this period, then they will enter into distress phase. Distress in which it is long. We know that uh, the regression of corpus luteum in beach and queen, it is not properly known, and this animal have a longer distress phase, distress stage 70 to 80 days. So during distress phase, because the corpus luteum is remain after ovulation, and the uterus, it is not active for corpus luteum regression. In most of the farm animal, the uterus secrete PGF2 alpha and they destroy the corpus luteum. But in case of dog, we don't know how the corpus luteum regression occurs. So therefore, because corpus luteum is present, progesterone continue to produce 50 to 80 days, and the mechanism is not known how the corpus luteum is regressed. But during that period, some beaches, the spelling is wrong actually. Some beach, some beach show signs of pregnancy, but actually they are not pregnant. There are absence of pregnancy, there is no conception, no pregnancy, but this beach shows some of the signs as if they are pregnant, and this is called pseudo pregnancy because there is presence of corpus luteum during this period. So what are the signs of pseudo pregnancy? There is absence of pregnancy, sure, and but there is presence of corpus luteum, and progesterone continue to produce 50 to 80 days, and due to high concentration of progesterone, uterus, they will enlarge in size, and the uterine gland, proliferation of uterine gland, and they start secreting. The abdominal fat deposition, mammary gland development, nest building, and signs of labor, that is parturition or lactation rarely. So most of the this after proestrus, then estrus, if the animal is pregnant, then 60 days. After 60 days, the animal again enter into estrus. If it failed to conceive or there is no pregnancy, they will undergo the next stage is diestrus, or some beaches they show pseudo pregnancy. So after this stage again they have to enter into estrus. This is inactive sexual period. So let us discuss the estrus. Estrus is a period of complete sexual inactive. It is a period of sexual rest. Cervix is closed. No manifestation of the uterus. Oh, sorry, no manifestation of the estrus. So during that period, the bitch will remain inactive sexually. So this is about in bitch, anestrus, pseudopregnancy, and diestrus, then estrus and proestrus. So let us see the queen cat. Cat, these are induced ovulator. Induced ovulator we have discussed. If there is no copulation, no stimulation of the vagina, then there will be no ovulation. If there is no ovulation, no corpus luteum. So suppose during the estrus period, the queen received the vaginal stimulation by the penis, or there is presence of male, there is copulation or sexual intercourse. Then after that, if the queen or cat fail to conceive after coital contact, then this queen or cat come into estrus. They will show the signs of estrus after 42 days. It means the minimum time between the estrus is 42 days. In queen also the luteal phase is quite long. And signs of estrus are they will show prolonged period of vocalization. They will make the sound, an affection toward any object like human, table legs, or pieces of furniture, crawling their thorax against the floor, roll about, and they also shows the signs of pseudo pregnancy if corpus luteum remain without pregnancy. So this corpus luteum due to high progesterone concentration, they will cause development of uterine endometrium, mammary gland development, nest building, lactation, which is seen rarely, and abdomen is not marked as beach. So in case of beach, abdomen also it is enlarges, even though they are not pregnant in pseudo pregnancy beach. So this is what are the signs and the stages of the estrus, and some of the significant points in farm animals and beach and cat. So this signs are very necessary for identifying the animal who are in stress for proper timing of breeding.